Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you an unboxing plus on-feet video of the AG Artificial Grass Nike Mercurial Superfly 4 in the latest Stealth Pack colorway. Now inside the box, as you get with all the top-end models from Nike, a string bag is included. This particular string bag is black in color with hyper punch strings. The front has a white Nike swoosh, and the back has your white Nike football branding. So we'll get that out of the way. And other than that, all you're going to find inside the box are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these out of the box really quickly. And if you guys could take a second to leave a like on the video, it would be greatly appreciated. So here is a look at the AG Nike Mercurial Superfly 4. I've been getting a lot of requests to bring these in for review. A lot of people are curious about the Superfly, especially with the AG sole plate. What's it all about? Is it any different from the previous one? And what changes have actually been made to the shoe to make it better suited for artificial grass? These are all things we're going to be talking about in today's video. In the meantime though, if you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, whether it be the AG pattern, the soft ground pro, or even the firm ground variation, check out the review page on my website. There'll be a link down below in the description. You'll find buy it now links along with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, allowing you to pick these up below their $275 price tag. So if you're interested in a pair, that is the place to go. And I'll also leave several annotations on screen to my playtest video, as well as any other performance oriented review that I have of the Superfly 4 if you're just looking for more performance information. With that being said, let's get right into the video. To start things off, let's talk about the colorway and just general visuals of the AG Superfly 4. Now, being that this is part of the Stealth Pack, the upper is predominantly black. You can see that you have certain areas that are exposed black Flyknit material, while other areas are actually covered in a clear layer of fused on Nike skin, where you get to see that black Flyknit kind of underneath. So it's kind of two shades of black, but still looks very, very good. Has a nice premium vibe. You have your black laces, and then of course the sole plate is black carbon fiber, and you can see for the AG model, none of that carbon fiber is covered up. They chose to make it a clear sole plate. So again, it has that visual impact that you would want from a Superfly 4 and that carbon fiber sole plate. You have your white Nike swoosh outline on both the lateral and medial sides here. Obviously this one is a lot smaller. Your ACC branding in dark gray. And then as your main accent color for the Mercurial as well as the Hypervenom Stealth Pack colors, you have your Hyper Punch pink in the form of the Mercurial logo on the back, and then the little rim at the top. And actually the middle layer of Flyknit here, you can see when it stretches out, exposes that Hyper Punch pink color, which I thought was a pretty cool thing that you really can't see unless you hold the shoe in your hand. On the bottom as well, you can see that some of the studs are Volt yellow in color, so that's that little bit of extra accent that you wouldn't normally have with the firm ground or soft ground variations. But nonetheless, I think it looks pretty good and all the colors work well together. If you're looking for a low profile color scheme for a Mercurial, especially a Superfly 4, this is definitely the one to pounce on. So leave your opinions on it down below in the comments. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it too simple for your taste? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on next to a quick look at all of the different tech specs and what you need to know about the performance of the Superfly 4. As far as tech specs go, there's a lot going on with the Superfly 4, and again, if you want as much information as possible, check out my full written review on the firm ground variation. I'll leave a link down below in the description, and I'll also leave several annotations on screen to my playtest video, my traction test video, and several comparisons I have with the rest of the Mercurial line, as well as the other Flyknit model from Nike, the Magista Obra. So check out those sources of information if you want as much details or as many details as possible. Now, to start off with the AG Superfly 4, let's talk about the AG sole plate and stud pattern combination. Now, like I mentioned, they included the standard carbon fiber sole plate. So you're going to get the same carbon fiber sole plate whether you buy the firm ground, the AG, or the soft ground variation, which is nice. It's responsive, it's thin, it's flexible in the areas it needs to be. It's not too stiff in my opinion. It's not as stiff as previous carbon fiber sole plates from Nike, and it definitely does look the part. So as far as sole plates go, it's definitely high end and it definitely gets the job done. Now, as far as the AG stud pattern is concerned, Nike has made some changes in comparison to what we got with the Vapor 9. Now, the changes aren't really anything significant and not significant enough, in my opinion, to make a difference in terms of how the shoe is going to feel and perform on artificial grass. But the same theme remains true with this particular stud pattern, that it is much better suited for turf slash artificial grass, or really any artificial playing surface, in comparison to firm ground shoes and especially soft ground shoes. Now, the reasoning for the AG stud pattern is that the studs themselves are much shorter than what you're going to find from a firm ground variation, and that's because artificial grass tends to be relatively shallow. It's a thicker carpet, so you really don't need to dig into the ground that much in order to achieve a decent or a really high level of traction. So again, much less aggressive studs. You can see all the studs are conical in shape, and that again is by design, so you're not going to have that clingy feel where you're kind of stuck into the ground. You don't have the ability to twist and turn. That may seem like a good thing when it comes to traction, but in terms of actual safety, it's actually really dangerous, because if you do plant, you get knocked, or even if you push off too hard, you could injure yourself or get injured because of having too much traction. So again, a stud pattern like this is designed to have a release from the grip. That's also why they're kind of hollowed out in the middle. The studs are made from like a softer rubber material, so you can see when I push them, they actually have that little bit of flexibility to them. And again, that's so when you're planting, when you're pushing off, you're still going to get plenty of grip, but it's not going to be too grippy. It's not going to be clingy. It's going to perform like a firm ground stud pattern would on natural grass. And that's really what AG stud patterns are all about. As far as the layout itself is concerned, you can see it's definitely the most minimal AG stud pattern we've seen from Nike. It's kind of laid out like a firm ground shoe, but obviously with AG studs in place of what would normally be firm ground studs. You have 3 studs on either side of the heel, 4 studs here on the medial side of the forefoot. You have 5 studs on the lateral side, 2 support studs in the middle, and then what I consider to be 2 kind of Mercurial toe pick studs right here at the tip. Again, all of these studs are going to achieve a really good amount of traction on artificial grass. And again, if you're playing on AG surfaces frequently, even half the time you're playing on AG, it's definitely worth it to invest in an AG stud pattern. It's definitely the safest and the best way to play on artificial grass, if you ask me. Once you use an AG sole plate, it really will make sense in terms of what each sole plate from Nike, or any brand for that matter, is intended for. There's a reason why they make AG, firm ground, and soft ground, because they really are the optimal stud patterns for that type of playing surface. Now, in terms of durability, because everything doesn't seem to last as long on artificial grass because it is so abrasive. In the summertime, if you're playing on an outdoor AG field, they tend to get extremely hot. You expect some kind of extra reinforcement with an AG shoe, and from what I can tell, the Nike hasn't really done too much. The plastic is definitely thicker around the outside edges of the shoe, so that is there. Most likely to just deal with the heat a little bit better, like I mentioned a little earlier. But in terms of any kind of reinforcement on the upper or anything like that, there doesn't seem to be anything extra. So as far as durability is concerned, again, it's an AG shoe. It's designed for AG, so if something does go wrong, it's covered under Nike's warranty. But in terms of it, like I said, being any more rugged than the firm ground or soft ground variations, I just don't see anything that Nike has incorporated here. What I can say is I haven't had any issues with the firm ground shoes or the soft ground Superfly 4s that I've been using for testing over the last couple of months now, so I don't expect there to be any significant issues with this shoe either. But again, just keep in mind that AG is much harder on your shoes than soft ground or any kind of natural grass would be. Now, in terms of the upper itself and the tech specs of the Superfly 4, despite the AG sole plate and stud pattern, nothing else about the shoe is different. It fits the same, it's got the same insole, it's got the same Flyknit upper, it's got the same Brio cables, everything else is the same. So again, if you want those details, that link to the full review is down below in the description. But for the sake of the video, we'll go over everything very quickly. The upper is made 100% from Flyknit, which is several different types of yarns and synthetic fibers that are knit together by machine to create a one-piece enclosure for your foot. Now, you have 2 varieties of Flyknit. The Flyknit that's reinforced, that's the area that's covered in this thin Nike skin layer. That's going to provide additional grip, help to make the shoe more water resistant, and of course it also features ACC all conditions control, acting as your wet control element. The areas that are exposed Flyknit are more stretchy. This is going to allow for a nice kind of compression type of fit, extra maneuverability. It's not going to provide any restriction or anything like that despite its mid-cut design. And again, it's just to create that sock-like sensation when the shoe is on your foot, where there's no start and stop to where the shoe begins and where it ends. It's a really interesting sensation that you can really only get from the Superfly 4 and Magista Obra at this point in time. Now, in order to add any kind of structure to the shoe itself, because the Superfly 4 Flyknit upper is on the thinner side, Nike has incorporated these Brio cables, essentially a variation of Flywire that run from the base of the sole plate into the laces. So when you put your foot inside the shoe, it's going to wrap it really nicely because of that elasticated quality of the Flyknit. But when you pull the laces tight, these Brio cables are going to really hold your foot down, keep it locked inside of the shoe, and provide a tremendous amount of lateral responsiveness when you are making those hard cuts and turns, which is demonstrated really well in the traction test video that I made of the Superfly 4. Check that out for more info on what I'm talking about. As far as the mid-cut design is concerned, this dynamic fit collar definitely does look a little bit odd. It's not for everybody, but if you're sold on the concept, you're probably going to like it. It doesn't have any kind of extra plastic or stiffness to it. It's not going to restrict the movement at your ankle. It's not going to add any support or structural integrity to the shoe. Again, it's just there to provide that seamless sock-like sensation, which this shoe provides extremely well. Obviously, it's much more complex than that. And again, if you want more info, those sources of information that I've left on screen and down below in the description are the places to check out. But that's pretty much it as far as tech specs go. And move on next to a quick weigh-in so you can see how lightweight these guys are. Just like what we see with soft ground stud patterns, the AG versions of shoes tend to weigh a little bit more than the firm ground variations of the same model. Now that doesn't seem to really be the case, at least as significantly, with the AG Superfly 4, because the carbon fiber sole plate is stiff enough and strong enough to not require any extra reinforcement that they would normally put onto an AG sole plate stud pattern combo. So I'm going to weigh in both the AG and the firm ground versions of the Superfly 4 in real time. Keep in mind these are both in brand new condition as well as in the same size 9 US, so this is a very fair comparison, and we're going to see what the exact difference is. So we'll start off with the firm ground shoe. You can see that these are in fact firm ground. We'll throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 6.9 ounces. So very, very lightweight, exactly what you would expect from a lightweight Mercurial speed boot, if you will. So we'll take that off the scale. We'll throw on the AG variation, as you guys can see, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.1 ounces. So there's a 7.15. So there's a 0.25 ounce difference between the two shoes. Is this a significant amount of weight? Absolutely not. You're not going to notice a difference between the two shoes on feet. And again, whether you're buying the firm ground or AG shoe, again, the sole plate and the stud pattern and the playing surface you're going to be playing on is the most important thing here, as opposed to the weight. Weight should not be the deciding factor if you're trying to decide between firm ground, AG, or soft ground. The playing surface is what's important. So that's pretty much it as far as the weigh-in portion of the video is concerned, and move on next to a quick on feet so you can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and of course what the sizing is like. Alright, here's a look at the AG Superfly 4s on feet, and from right out of the box this is a very comfortable shoe, but they don't really feel like anything else out there on the market other than maybe the Magista Obra, but even that doesn't really compare to the Superfly. The one-piece Flyknit mid-cut upper is very thin, it's soft and flexible, it has a sock-like type of movement about it, but it wraps your foot really tightly due to those Brio cables running down the lateral and medial side of the upper, and when you pull those laces tight, again, it really does have that unique sensation where your foot is locked in place, but still very, very comfortable. It's a tight-fitting shoe, but the most comfortable tight-fitting shoe that I've honestly ever worn. And because of that mid-cut design, you have that seamless sensation where the shoes feel like a part of your body as opposed to a pair of shoes on your feet. Now, this is a concept that certainly isn't for everybody. But again, if you buy into this mid-cut Flyknit concept from Nike, you're probably going to have a really positive experience with this particular shoe. Now, for those that are wondering if they fit or feel any different because it's the AG version versus the firm ground or the soft ground pro variation, the answer to that question is no, they feel exactly the same. There's no difference whatsoever when it comes to the fit or the sizing. As far as the fit is concerned, it's a little bit wider than the standard Teijin synthetic Mercurials. I guess the Vapor 10 would be the best comparison right now. But as far as Mercurials go, it still is a tighter, more narrow cut shoe. So if you have wide feet, it's probably best to stay away and you're not really going to get much stretch out of the upper at all. As far as the fit is concerned, I'm wearing a size 9 US, and they do run maybe a quarter size longer than the other Mercurial models below it, the Vapor 10, the Veloce 2, the Victory. But again, if you wear your Mercurials or a past Mercurial fairly snug with no extra space at all, I would recommend going true to size in the Superfly 4. Whereas if you were wearing your older Mercurials with a lot of extra space, you may want to go half a size down in the Superfly 4 for the best possible fit. But other than that, like I said, I wore them true to size, had no issues whatsoever, but I tend to wear my shoes pretty snug. So you can see even in a size 9 US, my toes are pretty much right at the end. So again, if you're looking to order a pair, going true to size is what I would personally recommend for the Superfly 4 if you're looking for the best possible fit. Alright guys, that's it for my unboxing of the AG Superfly 4 in the Stealth Pack colorway. Really good looking colorway. I think most people already know that. Superfly 4 really offers a unique and interesting experience as far as soccer cleats go. And if you're frequently playing on artificial grass, this is definitely the stud pattern to go for. Now we'll be testing this stud pattern out over the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned to the website soccerreviewsforyou.com for my full written review to go up. Like I said, I just want to get some playing time in this AG stud pattern just to verify that it actually does perform the way it's supposed to perform. I expect it to do that though. So if you're really gonna be playing on artificial grass a lot and you want a pair of Superfly 4s, I would suggest pulling the trigger on a pair of these right away. They really are worth the money and worth the experience, if you ask me. In terms of full written reviews though, if you guys want more information right now on the Superfly 4 and how it performs, I'll leave several annotations on screen, and then you can check out the full written review of the Firm Ground Superfly 4 on my website. That'll also be linked down below in the description, and that'll give you all the details you could possibly want as to how these shoes fit, feel, and perform. Mine is, of course, the AG stud pattern. If you have any questions regarding this shoe at all, the Superfly 4 or just the AG stud pattern, leave those questions down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. And also, if you have any video ideas or suggestions, leave those down below in the comments as well. Always open to hearing what you guys want to see as far as content is concerned. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.